This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
Hey-o, what's going on? Welcome into another episode of the Fantasy Roadshow. Happy Sunday to everybody out there joining us. We're your hosts. You can call me Truck. You can call him Shane O'Mac. You can find me on Twitter at fantasy_trucker. You can find him on Twitter at smccormick_ff. Shane, how you doing today, buddy? It's been a while. Well, I mean, it's been a week, but it feels like a while. Okay, so how you doing?
Yeah, it is. It's good to be back. Good to be back.
Nice. Well, great Sunday and slate for us today. This is probably the best Sunday so far of the NFL season. It's halftime currently, or about to be. I think it's halftime now.
Yep.
What was your initial thoughts from this Chiefs Dolphins game through the first half?
Man, it was this Chiefs defense. I said it like a couple of weeks ago, or I was talking about it. I wrote it up in an article. Like, you got to start considering them one of those better defensive matchups that, if you have fringe starters, you may have to take that into account. They just find a way to kind of contain folks.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, my takeaway from this is the Dolphins defense is actually getting better with Vic Fangio and now the Jalen Jalen Ramsey's back. Yeah. So we got our first question of the day. Marquise Walker, thank you for joining us. Everybody that's watching, thank you for watching. Feel free to chime in and ask us questions. That's what we're here for. He needs two: DJ Moore, Puka, Jay Cook, or Singletary. What do you think here?
So DJ Moore, I'm going to rule out Puka just because of with Brett Rippon slated to play in that game at Green Bay. I'm going to assume maybe this, I don't know if this is PPR or not. So I'll go DJ Moore for sure. And then I would probably go James Cook. That Bengals defense is allowing almost 140 yards rushing a game.
Yeah.
It's not a great run defense. So I like his chances tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Puka is currently questionable. He's been limited all week. He's on track to play, but with the Stafford's probably not going to play. So I'm definitely ruling out Puka. Singletary getting the backfield to himself. Damian Pierce is ruled out. I'd like to see how this looks. Tampa Bay has been known to be a pretty good run defense. So James Cook and DJ Moore are my picks as well. So, but thank you for your question, Marquise. Casey Martin, thanks for joining. Cook, Mixon, Nakua for final PPR flex. So another Nakua, I think we're ruling him out even in this matchup, right? Who do you like between Cook and Mixon?
That is a tough one. I did like what I saw from Mixon last week. He put up a good game against one of the better run defenses at San Francisco. If I've got two guys, I don't know about you, Truck, but if I've got two guys, like two running backs that are pretty similar, I'm probably going to tilt to the home guy and Mixon, thinking they're going to be up maybe in that game, and maybe he gets a little bit more action. So I'd probably tilt to Mixon, but it's close.
Yeah, that's extremely close for me as well. I think it's going to be a shootout. It's going to be a great game tonight. But I agree. I like what we've seen from Mixon in the most recent games, and I think Mixon could be the play here. Although I love James Cook. I don't think you can go wrong with Cook or Mixon. You're kind of just splitting trees there. But I'd probably lean with Shane and go Mixon. So Casey, thanks for your question as always. B Cork, hey, good morning, B Cork. Morning BFF. DJ Moore or Gabe Davis half PPR. I'm going Gabe Davis as much as I love DJ Moore and as much as I love the Bears. I think Gabe Davis with this matchup, as we just talked about, being a kind of a shootout against Cincinnati. It's the night game. I like having those players going over in the later slots. I think Gabe Davis has a big game, although DJ Moore has been putting up double-digit fantasy points with Tyson Bagent or T-Bag. With him struggling offensively, he's still putting up double-digit points. So, Shane, what do you think between DJ Moore and Gabe Davis?
Yeah, I think I'll lean Gabe Davis also. Like, I really liked what I saw last week. He got 12 targets in that game. Maybe that's a sign of things to come with no Dawson Knox here. They're running more 11 personnel than two tight end sets. So I'm going to stick. It's hard for me to get off a guy who's coming off 12 targets, and I think he finished as the wide receiver 6 last week.
Yeah, definitely. So I think we're on the same page there, Gabe Davis. So again, anybody else out there, feel free to chime in. We're going to be talking over our own starts and sits as well. Shane, I got a couple questions for you. I'm curious to see what you have to say about it. But real quick, before anybody else asks, I'll just go over real quick the injury slate of who's playing and who's not. Oh, we got a quick question here. Blurpy, thanks for your question. Watson or Carr at quarterback, McBride, Hill, or Ferguson at tight end? He has Watson and McBride in right now. I'll just start with the Watson and Carr. I like Carr over Watson. Watson hasn't been able to do much. I'm still dealing with that bone bruise. I don't trust him. He hasn't really shown much to earn trust. Derek Carr is putting up over 300 yards, multi-touchdown games. He's been a quarterback 8 even when he's struggling. I like Carr. He's my quarterback streamer of the week. Shane, where are you at with
Yeah,
Watson?
it's 100% Carr for me. Just like you said, I think he's had 3 or 4 300-yard games in a row. And all it's going to take with Watson is one tweak of that shoulder, one hard hit or something, and he could be leaving that game easily.
Yeah, definitely. So out of McBride, Taysom Hill, or Ferguson, I think I know where you're going to lean, but go ahead. Who do you got between those three?
And if this is a PPR league, I'm going to lean McBride. I don't care if he's got a rookie tight end. He is playing the Browns, but maybe he is peppered with more to close second for me. Ferguson, I'm a little bit, at Philly, like I'm a little worried about that game at Philly, but it's McBride, but actually Hill would be probably my second choice just because of those red zone packages they keep dialing up for him.
Yeah, it is PPR, by the way. He wanted to chime in and mention that. For me, this is tough. Trey McBride, yes, he got peppered with targets last week. However, they have Clayton Tune at quarterback. Terrible matchup against Cleveland Browns. I wouldn't want to start McBride unless I absolutely have to. Taysom Hill is who I'm thinking about. He has really good touchdown upside, as we've seen. They're starting to find this rhythm with him. Now, Kulz and I were talking earlier in the week. Taysom Hill, over the last few years, has been hot and cold. You can't trust him on a weekly basis because he'll disappear and score you 3 points. So I do like the touchdown upside with Taysom Hill, but I also think Ferguson scores a touchdown. I think Dak Prescott has a good game against Philly. Philly's passing defense is subpar at best, and I think they're giving up the most passing yards to receivers. But I think Ferguson has a good game. But I think I lean Hill just for the touchdown upside. At that tight end's position, once you get a touchdown, you're in a good spot. So I'm going to go Hill. Danny Cousins, thanks for joining. Any stashes before the game? I know, Shane, I saw on Twitter you had an idea for this.
Yeah, so I had a couple. Danny kind of considers what you're thinking. Like, if there's some really top quarterbacks on buys like next week. So if you only have one quarterback on your roster, like I would maybe look at Taylor Heineke. He's got the Cardinals next week, a good matchup. But if you're just talking about guys that might do something, there's a couple like Keontae Ingram. Horrible matchup this week, but we don't know what DeMarcado's status is with his knee. If this is a multi-game absence, just a 1 week, and Damian Williams is already on the IR. So next week he's going to get the Falcons, and he's going to get Kyler Murray back at quarterback. So that's one running back. I like Demario Douglas. Patriots.
Yeah, Pop Douglas.
Yeah, Bourne's obviously out for the year. He's gotten, I think, 14 targets in the last 2 games. Next week he gets the Colts, who are the bottom 10 points allowed to fantasy wide receivers. So I like him. And then the last guy who might be on your waiver wire is Quentin Johnston. So he had over 70% of the snaps last week in that game. Josh Palmer's already been ruled out for Monday. We don't know if this is a multi-game absence for him. And, his last game last week at Johnston, he finally maybe did something that shows the coaching staff something. I think he had 6 for 50. So I would just stash him on the upside he carries for the second half of the offense of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. And then to piggyback off that, I like Khalil Shakir. Shakir got peppered early in the game last week. Yes, he's playing the Sunday night game. If you're in a deep league and you need a spot start at flex, I wouldn't mind him as well. But see how this progresses. And then also, I know it's ugly, but I picked up Jamison Crowder. I know what's his name? Who's out for Washington? I can't think of his name right now. their flex guy right now. Anyway, he's
Curtis Samuel.
Yeah,
He's
Curtis
out.
Samuel's out this week. So Jamison Crowder, I'm playing him in a couple leagues in a flex spot, deeper leagues, but I like him as well.
Yeah.
Danny Cousins, thank you. David, I'm in an ugly spot right now. I'm slotting Charbonnet in my running back slot over Foreman, Freeman. I could pick up Ingram or Roshan from free agency if you think those options are better. And he is also in a half PPR.
Okay, so he's got Charbonnet right now over Foreman and Freeman.
I'll just go ahead and say Keontae Ingram could be interesting. If you're talking about I don't like Foreman or Roshan Johnson.
No.
The Saints defense is stout, and they're going to have a hard time scoring or really putting up points. I think this Bears offense is going to really struggle in the game today. I do like Freeman. Freeman over the last 2 weeks has been more efficient than Darrell Henderson, and Royce Freeman actually could have another shot at scoring a touchdown as he's done over the last couple of weeks. So I lean Freeman, but I'm also interested in Ingram. I would play Ingram over Charbonnet. Charbonnet is kind of a stash play right now. Kenneth Walker is still a massive piece of this offense. He's going to get all the work. Charbonnet will get worked in here and there, but I'm going Freeman. And if you really don't like Freeman, pick up Ingram and go with him. So that's where I'm at. I know Cleveland Browns. I saw a stat somewhere, courtesy of D Brown over for the Fantasy Pros, was talking how the Cleveland Browns, yes, they're a good run defense, but they're actually giving up a lot of explosive run plays. They're giving up a lot of larger run plays. So the Browns, it's not impossible to run on them. You never know. Ingram, the weirder things happen in fantasy football, right? Ingram could have a big game. So I lean Freeman, but if you don't like Freeman, go Ingram.
Yeah, and I guess David, I would say like if you're in a spot where Charbonnet is like the only guy you could drop to pick up Ingram, don't do it, because I'd want to keep Charbonnet on my roster for the rest of the year. But I don't know if last week's usage was like a sign of things to come for him. And it's not a great matchup playing Baltimore either. They're top 10 in fantasy points allowed to running back. So it's not a great. I would agree the same way. I would say Freeman 1, Ingram 2, just because of the amount of touches. And we may see the Rams lean on the run game with Brett Rippon back there.
That's what I'm expecting.
I think that could happen. And I can't see a world where Jordan Love and that Packers offense get a big lead on the Rams. And so I think that game stays close, low scoring the whole time.
Yeah, I completely agree. B Cork, another question. Thanks, bud. DJ Moore, Jordan Addison, or Chuba in a full PPR flex? This is tough. Chuba Hubbard is the guy right now in Carolina. I like this matchup with Carolina and Indianapolis. I think Chuba has a really good game. I'm fading Jordan Addison this week with Jaron Hall's first career start. And DJ Moore, he's going to get you the highest floor, in my opinion. But I think Chuba has the best chance of scoring a touchdown out of these three. I like Chuba, and I think I will lean him over DJ Moore and Jordan Addison, as strange as that sounds. Shane, I don't know, where are you at with that?
Yeah, I probably lean Chuba, definitely over Addison. Moore's close second, but I agree. Like if you're looking at who's got the most touchdown upside, it's Hubbard for me. It'd be nice. Maybe we'll see it today, but it'd be nice to see more work from the receiving game out of Hubbard. He's not getting a ton of targets or catches. I think he had like 2 targets and 1 catch last week. But I think he's got better touchdown upside than Moore does.
Yeah, I agree. And then David, thank you. Great insight. David, thank you. Thank you for joining us on a Sunday morning. Please follow us on Twitter at fantasy_trucker, at smccormick_ff. Ask us questions you have throughout the week. We're always live here Sunday at 10 a.m. We'll go as long as you guys have questions and as long as we have much to talk about. So I'm sure Kulz will join us here shortly if he ever wakes up. All right, cool. So back to what I was talking about earlier, the who's in and who's out, just to kind of clarify and to summarize some of the stuff going on. Kyler Murray is out. I kind of want to talk to you about this. Kyler Murray came out and said that he is ready to go, but yet they're starting Clayton Tune. Do you think they're just precautious about his injury and him coming back and he comes back next week? Or this seemed really weird to me, the whole Kyler Murray and Clayton Tune thing.
Yeah, I think it's just 100% like safety, knowing they're playing this great Browns defense. and don't risk anything. A, him getting hurt, or
Yeah.
B, him looking bad in a first game. Just in case they're thinking down the road any trade value, let's instead debut him next week at home in a much better matchup. I 100% expect him to start next week.
Okay, great. I have him on a couple rosters I stashed weeks ago, so I'm glad to hear that. Now, we talked about Amari DiMercato is out. Keontae Ingram is getting the start. If you guys are really hurting at running back, he's not a bad play, so possibly pick him up. Drake London is out this week, and I think Taylor Heineke is now getting the start, as we've heard from Coach. I can't think of his name. Arthur Smith. That guy is brutal.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, Drake London is out. Taylor Heineke is in at quarterback. I like Kyle Pitts this week. I think Taylor Heineke is going to try to right the ship with Kyle Pitts and his targets and his involvement in this offense. I like Jonnu Smith and I like Kyle Pitts this week with Drake London out. And then outside of Drake London for wide receivers, Mac Hollins has been seeing a dip in snap percentage. And then they got this other guy. I cannot think of his name for the life of me. I did pick him up in a deep dynasty league. But anyway, what do you see here for this Falcons offense?
Well, and I don't know if this is the one you picked up and you're thinking of, but last week Van Jefferson did get 6 targets in that game. And people forget that he came over. They made a trade for him to get him from the Rams. And so
hold on one second. Keep talking. Hold on one second.
Yeah, it may be, I think it'll be Jefferson this week who ends up getting a lot of those targets that are vacated from London from the wide receiver position. But I expect Pitts to probably have like a double-digit target day today. Like I think you're looking 10 targets. He probably comes up with 7 catches. I think that's probably one of the stronger locks for like a top 5-7 tight end finish.
Yeah, I completely agree. And his name is actually Kaderil Hodge.
Oh, Hodge.
Yeah, Kaderil Hodge last week scored 10.5 points. He led the team in receiving. I think he's a sneaky play this week. If you guys see him out, he's available in every single league. Literally 0% rostered except mine because I picked him up. I had to, but Kaderil Hodge, man, keep him on your radar. So that's where that's at. Let's see what else we have here. Real quick, why is Justin Fields still doubtful? They've declared that Tyson Bagent is starting. It is so aggravating that the certain teams are just not designating them as out, even though they're not playing. Like it's so aggravating. I just wanted to vent to you. It's very, very frustrating when that happens. And we officially got word Matthew Stafford is out. He is not playing as we expected. Let's see. Dameon Pierce is out. Devin Singletary is going to get the full opportunity. Do you think Singletary has a big game today against this Tampa Bay defense?
I don't think it's a big day just because of the defense the Bucs play, but I mean, I think you're looking at a guy you can plug in for a flex spot. I think he does get maybe 10 PPR points day between rushing and receiving. I would think so. So, I'm not expecting a huge game.
I'm not either, but this is a spot where he can, really kind of take control over this backfield. With Dameon Pierce struggling, Singletary getting the opportunity, if he comes out and performs well, it's like, for example, early on in the season, the Philadelphia Eagles had Kenneth Gainwell as their lead back. He gets injured. DeAndre Swift comes in, has a phenomenal game, and now all of a sudden it's his backfield. Granted, he's the more talented running back, and I'm not saying that Singletary is the more talented running back. He had a bad game against the Carolina Panthers, who are a terrible run defense, and he didn't really produce well. So I do think this is his opportunity to play well and kind of take the majority of that backfield moving forward. So I'm kind of looking forward to that.
Yeah, and so in one of my leagues, the use case scenario I think of for him is I'm going to bench Nakua for Singletary this week in one of my flex spots. So
yeah, that's
kind of where I'm thinking when I call him kind of a good flex play. That's kind of the example I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I like that. All right. Well, Josh Downs is questionable. He did practice a bit on Friday, and he's likely going to be a game time decision, a true game time call. If he doesn't play, Pittman has a great game. What do you think about Pittman this week? Do you think he can have a top 15, top 12 type of game?
Yeah, 100%. He'll be double digit targets. He's going to catch a bunch of short area targets, which are great in PPR leagues. So yeah, he's for sure going to probably be putting him in lock and loaded.
Now, if Josh Downs does play, do you have any confidence of him today? If they trust him enough to play him today, it's tough. When somebody is limited all week or did not practice all week and then logged a limited practice on Friday, it's hard to trust them. But if the team has confidence in them going out there and playing, it's like, you know what I mean? This goes either way all the time. What do you think about Josh Downs if he does play?
I tend to be risk adverse in that situation. So if a guy is testing it out pregame or something like that, it tells me like all it takes is one hit, one tweak, twerk, anything, and he could be re-injured. So unless you're there's no other options on your bench or the waiver wire, I tend to be play it safe and not start those guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's just burned me in the past when I'm like, oh, he was questionable all week. Like he's barely playing. I'm not going to play him. And then all of a sudden he goes off. So, and then Tyrod Taylor's out. Danny Dimes is back in. The Giants should have a good game today. What do you think about Daniel Jones this week for quarterback?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he comes back. The other component of that is Darren Waller's out. They put him on the IR, so he loses that offensive weapon for sure.
Yeah.
My hope, I don't have him on any teams, but from just a talent perspective, I would love for them to start getting Jalen Hyatt more involved in that offense. He's obviously they're one of the more explosive playmakers they have.
I completely agree.
So that would be nice to see.
All right, Shamar Sam, thank you for joining us. It's been a while. Welcome back. Nico or Pittman, who do you like better? So I'll just start. If Josh Downs does not play, it's a smash Pittman all day. And even if Downs does play, I think I still like Pittman over Nico. I love Nico and I love this Houston offense, but we've seen CJ Stroud kind of, semi been struggling, but I do think Stroud has a bounce back game. I think Nico has a solid game, but I think Pittman is just one step better. Shane, what do you think? Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say it's close. It is close, but it's Pittman for me, like especially with Downs out. I just think he's going to be heavily targeted. Nico it's close, but he's only gotten, I think it was 8 catches in his last 2 games. So he's kind of slowed down from the beginning. And I don't know. It's part of that is Houston and Stroud has not been has those high pass attempts like he did earlier in the season. So it's Pittman for me based off of the matchup and anticipated target share and volume he's going to get.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. We're both on the same page. Mega Brick, welcome back. Thanks for joining. Need a defense this week. Dallas against Philly. The Giants, I can't remember who the Giants are playing.
Giants have the Raiders.
Giants, Raiders, Chargers.
Have the Jets.
The Jets or the Colts. I'm going to go Giants. I think the Giants with Aiden O'Connell at quarterback for the Raiders. I just think the Giants have been playing really, really good football lately. Even over the last 2 games defensively, they're scoring a lot of fantasy points. They got like 15 and 13. I'm not sure off the top of my head, but they're doing really well. I'm going with the Giants, and I'm feeling really comfortable about that. Shane, do you agree, or would you go with the Chargers against the Jets or the Colts against Carolina, who is arguably one of the worst teams in the NFL?
Yeah, I'd go the Giants too. A couple of things. It's Chargers at the Jets. I'm going to be surprised if the Jets win that game outright, honestly. And then I do like, that Giants, it was just 2 weeks ago, they went down and really shut down that Bills offense in Buffalo. So they've gotten a little better on defense. And the matchup is just great. Even though it's at Las Vegas, that could be 60-70% Giants fans there. So Giants
absolutely.
For me too.
All right. And then Shamar Sam, based on that answer, Pollard is in my flex. I have to start. I have 2 must-start running backs. Should I bench Pollard or Nico? Pollard for Nico. Um, this one's tough for me. Pollard is going against this really, really good Philly defense. Pollard also hasn't been performing well. He's on my current red light list in our red light, green light episode that that came out earlier this week. I don't like Pollard this week, but with saying that, I I don't know who I'm going to play here between Pollard and Nico. Shane, can you kind of help me out? And you're a Cowboys fan. Do you have faith in Pollard this week, or would you rather go with Nico? They're kind of in the same tier for me in a flex spot.
Yeah, I hate that. It's a horrible matchup for Pollard. But a couple of things. One, like I don't think I think the volume for me, when you're comparing it with a guy like Nico, I'd probably start him over Nico Collins. And I have a funny feeling because they have really not gotten Pollard involved in the passing game. And so I have a feeling this week they're going to scheme up some ways to get him involved in the passing game and get him in space, because you can't run it up the gut in between the tackles against that Philly line. I think you see Pollard's reception have a much better receiving day today, which should help his floor in PPR leagues.
Yeah, you make a lot of sense, and I lean Pollard over Nico for those exact reasons. I just to me they're kind of in that same tier. So
yeah.
Okay, Dylan Fink, thank you for joining. Welcome back. Start one running back full PPR. It's ugly. Okay, Keontae Ingram, Zach Charbonnet, or Kenneth Gainwell, etc. Options on waivers. Leaning Gainwell at home. Ingram RB1, but I hate any Cardinals today against the Browns defense. Makes sense with Clayton Tune starting at quarterback. So what do you think here between Keontae Ingram, Charbonnet, or Gainwell?
So yeah, I wouldn't go Charbonnet on that. I was just looking up real quick. Let's see, I was just wanting to look up what Gainwell's touches were. So yeah, so last week is what I thought. He had 5 catches for 30 yards. He did nothing on the ground.
Who is this?
Gainwell.
Okay.
Had, so he said in his last 2 games, he's had a total of 5 catches and 10 carries for 12 yards. So based off of that, I feel like you're going to get a higher floor despite the matchup with Ingram than you will with Gainwell.
Yeah, and also on top of that, yes, the Browns defense is really good, but you have Clayton Tune at quarterback. The Cardinals just have to run the ball. They have to run it a lot. They cannot rely on Clayton Tune to throw the ball 35, 40 times this game. So as much as I don't like the matchup, I still think the volume is going to be there for Keontae Ingram, and he is the right play this week. So as ugly as that is, Dylan, Keontae Ingram is the play,
Yeah,
So.
I just think, Dylan, just based off when you're in this situation, I always want to go with a guy. Okay, who's the guy that's a lock to get probably 12 to 15 touches?
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be, that's Ingram for sure out of all those options.
Yeah. And even on the high end, I could see him touching the ball 20 times.
Yeah,
15 carries and 5 receptions or 5 targets. So, I think Ingram gets a big workload today. But thanks for your question. Mega Brick, pick one, a full PPR, sit one. T. Higgins, Dotson, or Godwin? This is a great question, Mega Brick. I originally didn't like Dotson to continue the pace that he's setting right now. However, with the other receivers sitting or he's not playing this week, I do like Dotson. So I would not sit Dotson. And for me, I don't think I would sit T. Higgins either. I think the Bengals win this game. And I just think it's a home game. This is a must win. They're last in their division. They have to put together some wins here. They got a big win last week. I think T. Higgins has a good game today. So I would be sitting Godwin. And for some reason, I just don't feel good about that. Shane, what do you think?
Yeah, and it's hard to say based off what Dotson did last week, and they're sitting Curtis Samuel. But I don't know. I just have a funny feeling that Commanders game at New England is going to be very low scoring. So I really think you're looking at a 17-10, 20-14 game. So you're maybe getting one receiving touchdown option from Dotson. I am on T. Higgins also. Like everyone out there, you have maybe this is your last week. You've got what an hour and a half left to buy low on T. Higgins. He's almost back to 100% from that rib injury. But for me, I like T. Higgins, and I'd go T. Higgins and Godwin for me for the two.
Okay, and that makes a lot of sense. Dotson against New England. That's just a hard barn to play in. So I completely understand where you're coming from. Mega Brick, full PPR start one. Keontae Ingram, Zeke, or Royce Freeman. Shane, what do you think? Your old boy Zeke, Royce Freeman, or Keontae Ingram? We've talked about Ingram a lot today. We've mentioned how we think he's going to have a large workload. Royce Freeman has been the more efficient running back with the touchdown upside in a run-heavy Rams offense, or Zeke, who has been the kind of the more productive running back in this Patriots team, going against a Commanders defense that just sold away Montez Sweat to my Bears and Chase Young to the 49ers. So what do you think here? This is a great question, Meg Brick.
So for me, I'm going to lean Royce Freeman out of that option, just like we talked about before. I just have a funny feeling that it's a heavy run game. I like both Rams running backs as flex options this week. It's that game's not going to get away from them. I think they keep it close and they lean heavily on that run. So I think even Freeman with say 12, 13 touches, I think he's got the better, safer floor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would go Royce Freeman over Ingram and Zeke. All right, Dylan, agree. Thank you for agreeing. Also, slightly projected to win full PPR start one. Okay, so you're in a good spot so far in the beginning of the day. Hollywood Brown, Michael Thomas, or Josh Downs, who is questionable. Michael Thomas, nice floor. Downs, I love, but maybe limited. Think Indy can and will run today against Carolina.
Yeah.
I agree with all of those things. And I would say Hollywood Brown is your way to go. I know he does have that rookie quarterback in there. However, who's that other wide receiver in Michael Wilson?
He's out.
He's out. So even with that information, I think Hollywood gets peppered with targets. Clayton Tune's going to try to get things going. He's going to try to get comfortable in this offense. He's going to try to get into a rhythm. And the only way he does that is throwing the ball to Hollywood Brown. And I think Hollywood, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, people tend to be scared sometimes when the new backup or quarterback comes in, but they have a tendency to lean heavily and pepper their number one wide receiver. Aiden O'Connell did it with Devontae Adams. I can go back last year when Cooper Rush came in for my Cowboys, and the two games that he played, like CeeDee Lamb had 10 and 11 targets in the two games. So I think, like you said, he's going to look to Hollywood Brown a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. So Justin Fields is just designated as out. Thanks.
Shocker.
Thanks, guys. So move him to your IR and pick up someone that we talked about earlier. And if you have any questions about who you should pick up, hit us up on Twitter or right now in the live stream. Mega Brick, thanks for your help, guys, with the tough choices. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for joining us, asking your questions. We appreciate it. So, all right, Shane. Surprisingly, I don't have that many questions today. With the 4 teams that are on bye, with the injuries that are sustaining in my deep leagues, I am just forced to start who I have on my team and the bench, everything, so to speak. So, do you have any questions? I know you're in tune with the with our Discord. Do you have anything on Discord, or if you can look that up while you're just
let me look it up real quick. And then I did have one question in one of my leagues.
Okay.
So I've got for a final flex spot in PPR leagues. It's a decision between DK Metcalf at Baltimore, Nico Collins at home against the Bucks, or Chuba against the Colts.
I think I still lean DK. As bad as that matchup is, I still think DK gets enough work to be the more productive out of those 3. Although we've talked about Chuba being the more touchdown upside and having a large workload in this Indianapolis game, but I still think DK is the right move here. He is the best receiver on the team. Geno Smith has a tough matchup, but he can still get him the ball. Like I kind of think this game's going to be high scoring, and I think DK is going to have a productive day. So I would lean DK, but it could go either way for sure.
Yeah, I've got DK in there, but more we talk about Chuba as I was wondering. Okay, so we got 2 questions here on Discord. First one,
Okay.
for PPR flex, Elijah Moore, JSN, Roshan Johnson.
Those 3.
Mm-hmm.
Elijah Moore, JSN, or Roshan Johnson. I don't like Elijah Moore with Deshaun Watson playing today. I know this Arizona matchup is really, really good. So Elijah Moore could be the more productive one.
Oh, sorry, there's one more. Jalen Reed, Packers too.
Jalen Reed. Okay.
Yep.
Man, that is tough. Jaden Reed. This Packers offense only scores 3 points in the first half. Like, it's just hard to trust any piece on that offense. You know what I mean? List those names one more time.
Okay,
The 4.
so Elijah Moore, JSN, Reed, or Roshan Johnson.
This is ugly, but I'll go JSN. This is a tough matchup against Baltimore, but JSN's been good lately, and the Dolphins just scored a touchdown finally.
Yeah, finally.
I think I go JSN. That's an ugly question. Those are ugly options. I think you're in trouble regardless who you start. But I don't know, Shane. What do you think? Do you like Elijah Moore better or Jaden Reed? I mean, Jaden Reed is good, but it's limited options, limited production, and Roshan's just is kind of out of the question for me.
Yeah, I think I lean JSN, just a little bit more upside than the rest of those guys. So
and talent too. I mean, he's the most talented out of those 4. So yeah.
All right, and then last one.
Real quick, let's interject this one real quick.
Oh yeah,
Chris Genova, thank you for asking your question. Minshew, Heineke, or Mac Jones this week? Pretty ugly, but what do you guys think? I don't like Matt Jones this week.
No.
Taylor Heineke or Minshew? I think I go Minshew against this Carolina defense. I think Minshew has the better game, although Heineke could be good, and Mac Jones going against a defense in the Commanders that just sold away some of their best defensive pieces. But yeah, I think I go Minshew. What do you think?
It'd be Minshew, and Heineke would be close second, distant third, Mac Jones for me. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. What's the other question from Discord?
Last one from Discord. 2 of these have to be benched. All right. So it is Godwin, Mike Evans, Singletary, Higgins, Jerome Ford, or Hubbard.
Oh,
so we're benching 2.
Bench 2. Godwin, Evans, Jerome Ford, Hubbard,
Higgins, and Singletary.
Oh God. Oh my God. I'm still starting Evans. I would prefer Evans over Godwin. Between Hubbard, Singletary, and Ford, I think Hubbard is the way to go there. But I also like Jerome Ford to bounce back this week. I know Jerome Ford, ever since he's come back from his injury, he hasn't really been that heavily involved. Kareem Hunt's been getting the bulk of the work, but I think Jerome Ford takes that threshold back. But I think for me, if you have to sit 2, right?
Yep.
I would be sitting Singletary and Ford.
Yep. That's probably what I would do too. Yeah.
Okay. That was a lot of players.
It was.
So, all right. Well, anybody out there, please feel free to join. We're at the end of our list right here. So please chime in if you have any questions. We'll get them answered for you. Here's one for you, Shane. Terry McLaurin or Hollywood Brown?
I like Hollywood. Like I said, I have concern with that New England game. It seems odd to say, but I really just think it is a Bill Belichick mucks it up defensive low scoring game. And like I said, I'm not afraid of a rookie quarterback with the number 1 receiver. I think Brown gets peppered with targets. He probably has 8-9 catches. So I think it gets a little bit. I lean Hollywood Brown.
Yeah, I currently have Terry McLaurin in, but that Hollywood Brown is so enticing.
It's close. Yeah, it's close. And I could be completely off. It's just a gut feeling of how I feel about that game's going to go in New England.
Do you think the Patriots win that game?
I don't know if they win it, but it's not. I don't see Washington blowing them away. I really could see 17-14, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, good to know. Do you have any questions on your end? Any other questions you want to get answered?
No, that was my only one. I did see just while we were talking, just for anybody out there, Nakua is officially active, but take it for what it's worth as far as, he was battling this all the way up through the weekend, this knee injury. And he's got Brett Rippon playing quarterback. So but he is active.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, I would feel very, very cautious about starting him. Here's another one for you. This is one that I'm toying with, but James Cook or Zach Moss. James Cook against the Bengals or Zach Moss against the Carolina Panthers defense.
Boy, so two things. I don't think this split is going away. I don't think JT is going to get 70, 80% of the carries and Moss goes away. But like I said before, this is a good matchup for Cook. The Bengals give up just so many rushing yards a game, almost 140. That's too good of a matchup for me to bench Cook in. So I think he would be the play. Latavius Murray has really been awful. I think that's more the reason why they brought in Leonard Fournette than anything against James Cook. And I haven't heard that they're going to make Fournette active this week, but I just think Cook's going to be a safer play this week.
Yeah, I think so too. But just seeing Zach Moss down there, and I know the split's not going anywhere. This Carolina defense, you can run all over them. So, I think I'm still going Cook, but that Zach Moss is enticing. I got one more for you. Mark Andrews or Dalton Kincaid.
Oh, man, I can't believe we were even considering this.
Right?
Yeah.
But I have reservation. Andrews going against Seattle. I think he does have a good game. However, Kincaid's going against the best matchup for tight ends.
Yeah.
The Cincinnati Bengals are giving up the most fantasy points per game to opposing tight ends. And Dalton Kincaid has been extremely active in this offense. I think the game is going to be very high scoring. It's going to be a shootout, and Kincaid's going to be heavily involved. But Andrews, his typical game is 6 for 50 and a touchdown or two. You know what I mean? So what do you think? Right off the top of your head.
Next to Kulz, I'm the biggest Kincaid guy there is. And I really do think he is their second, receiving option, consistently going to be getting, game to game. Gabe Davis is going to have these
target
spikes.
Wise.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just could not pull myself to benching Mark Andrews, I guess is where I come out. But man, it's not a slam dunk. Why consider it? Decision.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with you. This is the league that Kulz and I are in together, and we have Mark Andrews in, but I just, for some reason, I'm feeling like Kincaid's going to outscore him.
He could. Yeah, I could see that happening for sure.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens, but I'm looking at another roster that I help. I'm a consultant, so to speak, in this league with my buddy. He has Zay Flowers currently in his flex spot. And as I'm looking at it, there's no one else because it's Nakua or Addison. So that's a non-question. So he's going to stick with that one. But anybody else out there got any other questions, please feel free to hit us up. Shane, what game are you looking forward to the most today? What game are you going to be watching the closest?
Well, obviously the 3:25 Central Time, Dallas at Philadelphia is a big one.
Game of the week.
Yeah, it's huge. I don't know. It's going into Philly is tough. Dallas hasn't had a lot of luck there, but I don't think Philadelphia is just an invincible team to beat. Hurts is banged up. It's obvious. Their secondary can be it's not as good. So I'm just hoping for, a good close game. I've got CeeDee Lamb in a couple of leagues, so hoping he continues what he's doing. But it's a great, if staggered, if you look at, we started off with Dolphins, Chiefs, You're going to have Ravens, Seahawks at noon. Then you get Cowboys, Eagles in the late game, and then we get Bills, Bengals tonight. It's a great staggered slate.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if you're starting with the Dolphins and Chiefs, you're in a good spot, you know.
Yeah.
And then next week, did you see what Germany? Because Germany has this game right now that's on the two great teams with the Chiefs and the Dolphins. But next week, it is the Colts and Patriots in Germany. So you go from watching the Chiefs and Dolphins to the Colts and Patriots. Yeah. If you're in Germany and you didn't go to this game and you're going to the next game, I feel so bad for you.
Oh yeah, just slam the Oktoberfest next weekend.
Yes,
Germany,
definitely.
folks.
Yeah. All right. Well, what do you think about this Falcons and Vikings game? Just get your opinion with Jaron Hall. What do you see for his realistic? Do you think he can beat this Falcons team? Who do you have winning in this game? And would you trust any Vikings offensive pieces?
Oof, no, but Hawkinson would be the only guy I think I'm putting in for sure. I think the Falcons win, but
that rushing attack has just been struggling. We've seen Cam Akers get more rushes, and then all of a sudden it's Alexander Mattison getting the bulk of the work. Like, I don't know, man. I want to see Cam Akers really take control of this backfield, but I don't think it's going to happen. I have a buddy of mine who's a diehard Vikings fan. He's sending me stuff all week about Jaron Hall and how he's going to be the next. He called him this year's Brock Purdy. That's what he said.
Oh my gosh!
So I don't think that's necessarily the case. However, I do think it is possible. Jaron Hall can go out there. What do you think happens here? Jaron Hall goes out, throws 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He dominates against the Falcons. They just traded for Josh Dobbs. What happens then? Do they just go with Josh Dobbs since he's technically the better quarterback, or do you go with the hot-handed Jaron Hall?
Yeah,
tough decision.
It's hard for me to see that scenario playing out, honestly. Like,
yes, I mean the Falcons defense really good.
Yeah, like I don't feel like we've seen the Falcons give up a huge passing game that.
2 weeks ago against the Tennessee Titans with DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, you're right.
You know what I mean?
The Will Levis breakout game.
I credit that to Hopkins just being DeAndre Hopkins. The guy is an animal out there, and he's able to catch in triple coverage and make plays on the ball that nobody else is able to do. So, but yeah, I mean, we've seen it done. And to be fair, Jordan Addison last week against Jair Alexander, he made him look silly. Like Jordan Addison was great last week, although it was with Kirk Cousins, and you have to take that into account. But Jordan Addison, the talent of him as a wide receiver could overcome AJ Terrell in this Falcons defense. You know what I mean? And when you're throwing the ball to someone with his talent and his ability, you know, I could see, as much as I'm fading Jordan Addison in this offense, I could see it going the other way, and Addison and Hawkinson having a good game, and Jaron Hall just somehow making magic happen. To the extent of 303, I don't think so. But, you know, again, weirder stuff has happened in the NFL. So
I tell you what, if that happens, your buddy, whoever he is, he's going to get a special, like, boom shakalaka shout out from the three of us next week on the show.
I'll tell you what, he's been asking to come on the pod. I might actually have him join next week as a guest spot if Jaron Hall goes out there and lights it on fire.
There we go.
And we'll get his opinion on.
If he goes for 303, boom, he's on.
Okay, there we go. I'll text him today and say, hey, get ready. If he goes 303, you're on the pod next week. So
that's right.
What do you think about this Bills Bengals? Who are you picking to win, and how do you think this plays out?
I've got the Bengals, man. I just think they're one of the best teams now in the league, now that they're full strength. Like, Burrow looks confident. He's taken off and rushing. He ran for like 45 yards last week. T. Higgins almost back to 100%. I just think they're kind of on the upswing and playing at home. I feel confident in that team, that offense.
Yeah, and not to mention the Bills. The Bills offense, I wouldn't say they've been struggling, but you know, Josh Allen throws interceptions, he fumbles, the turnovers are real. And this Bengals defense last week looked really, really good. So I'm nervous for Josh Allen in this game. I think there's a turnover or two, and I'm picking the Bengals to win. I just think they need it more. You know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense to me how the Bengals are the bottom team in their division. Like that AFC North is the best division in football right now, with all their teams being what the Bengals are 4-3. They're above 500 yet they're the bottom of their division. So
Yeah.
at this rate, there's going to be 3 AFC North teams in the playoffs, which is crazy because this AFC is great in general. So to have 3 teams in one division make the playoffs is a little shocking to me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm curious. Chargers, Jets. What do you think this game's like Monday night? Chargers are coming off a big game against the Bears. Granted, the Bears are a bad team, and the Jets are one of the best defenses in the NFL. But also, the Jets' offense isn't great. They get the job done, and the Chargers' defense is one of the worst in the NFL. So you have like complete opposite sides of the spectrum. What's your opinion on this game? How do you think it plays out?
All week I was thinking Jets going to win this game, at home. They've got this way with their defense to shut people down. And the Chargers always kind of seem to you never know what you're going to get with them, honestly, what they're going to do. But then I think I saw like what worries me a little bit about that call is the Jets, I believe, are down 3 starting offensive linemen. I think they're on like a 3rd string center and then 2 other guys. So that is the only thing that is a little bit worrisome. But I don't think it's a big game unfortunately, because I've got Herbert in a couple of leagues. Like I don't feel like it's going to be a big game for like Herbert, Keenan Allen, and the offensive like skill position players. I think this is kind of a lower scoring game.
Yeah, I agree. We've seen what the Jets defense can do to elite quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Like the 3 of them against the Jets defense did not look good. And Herbert is not in that tier right now. You know what I mean? He's not playing the same way as Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, and Patrick Mahomes. So I think he struggles this game. I picked the Jets to win still. I just think that defense at home is going to be able to get the job done, and the Chargers defense isn't going to be able to stop Breece Hall or Garrett Wilson. And Zach Wilson is going to do just enough to win this game. So,
yeah.
All right, one other game I'm curious to get your opinion on. The Buccaneers and Texans. I know we talked a little bit about CJ Stroud and this Texans team, and a little bit about the Buccaneers. What do you think happens here? The Buccaneers cannot run the ball. Rachaad White's been held to under 40 yards the past 3 games. He's getting all of his work in the passing game. I mean, what do you think? The Texans defense has actually been pretty decent too against the pass. So what do you think here?
Yeah, they have been pretty good. Like, I feel like, they've played well at home too before, early in the season. They had that huge win over the Steelers where they just really destroyed them. They beat a pretty, a decent New Orleans team, held them to 13 points. I think they can do the same thing. Like, I feel like they can hold Tampa Bay to a similar type game, like against that Saints. I think it was like 2 weeks ago before the bye, where they only scored, I think it was 13 or 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
And so and I feel like maybe we see Stroud he's going to be, more 30 plus passing attempts because it's a little harder to run against this Bucs defense. So I see them probably maybe going to the air a little bit more. I like the Texans if I'm picking this game.
And you are picking, aren't you? Because we're in a pick'em league, hosted by the Fantasy Roadshow. If you guys aren't in the pick'em league next year, or this year, join next year. We put the link out right before the start of the season. I think we have a little over 50 people currently.
Yep.
And let me just share real quick because I think this is kind of funny. The standings.
Yeah, the standings.
Right?
Okay, good. I was curious.
I do. So right now, and this is the way it's been pretty much the last like 6 weeks. Shane, you're tied with Kulz in 14. You're ranked 14 out of 50.
Okay.
Your current records, you're tied at 73 and 50. I am 2 spots under you guys at 17. I am at 70 and 53. So I'm currently 3 games behind you guys.
Okay.
And I think I got a good chance this week. I think so. I know Kulz and I talked on the Thursday Night Football game. We stream every Thursday Night Football game. We talk matchups, how we think each game is going to go, and then we pick a winner. and I'm excited about this week. I feel really, really good. So
I am double checking. I did take the Texans in that, so I was just double checking my picks. Yep.
Okay, well, let's go through. So just real quick, did you pick the Chiefs to win this game or the Dolphins to win this game?
I picked the Chiefs.
Okay, me as well. It's looking pretty good, even though the Dolphins have now come back. It's 14-21.
Yeah.
Dude, how about Travis Kelce? Travis Kelce
where is he?
Has seven receiving yards. 7. What's going on? This Dolphins defense with Vic Fangio and a healthy Jalen Ramsey is a lot better. But
well, you can say that, Truck, but I mean, come on, that's not the reason. You know the reason why he's struggling.
His boo is not at the game.
Yeah, Taylor's not. I mean, it's
Taylor
like
Swift
a
is
60-yard difference per game when she's not in attendance.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. Jamie, welcome. Real. Yeah, I don't know what's real, but I appreciate the comment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Vikings, Falcons. Did you pick the Falcons to win this game or the Vikings?
Falcons.
Me as well. And then Cardinals, Browns. I think everybody's on the Browns, so we can pass that. Rams, Packers. Interesting.
I went Packers.
You got Packers? Me too. I'm taking the home team. I think the Packers are able to do just enough. The reports coming out of this this team is that Aaron Jones is going to get an uptick in work.
Yeah.
However, I've been keeping in track with his weekly progress. He's been wearing a red non-contact jersey pretty much all week.
Mm-hmm.
Like those two things seem a little weird to me to be saying it said in the same week. Yes, we're going to give him a bunch more work, but he's also wearing a red shirt all week and he's kind of in a limited fashion in practice. So I want to see Aaron Jones come back into form and play well. And I think it happens, but it's again, the Packers are averaging 3 points offensively and a half. That's the lowest in the NFL. So a little crazy. We got a question here. Infictive 2K, I think I said that right. McBride, Logan Thomas, or Taysom this week? I know we had a similar question earlier. We talked about McBride getting peppered with targets with a rookie quarterback, Clayton Tune. Logan Thomas, with that Patriots defense. I know you said it's going to be a low-scoring game, but without I can't think of his name. The wide receiver that's
Curtis Samuel.
Curtis Samuel. For some reason, that's just not in my mind today. Or Taysom Hill, who has the touchdown upside against a terrible, terrible Bears defense. What do you think? What do you think, Shane?
So I like Taysom Hill, like Logan Thomas, New England. I was thinking against wide receivers, but it's tight ends that they're like top 5 against tight ends, fantasy points allowed. New England is. So I like Taysom Hill. Like I really think as soon as they get inside the 10, they're going to put him in for those packages.
Yeah, I completely agree. Taysom Hill all the way. He's got the touchdown upside. He's just been a major part of this offense over the last couple of weeks. And I don't think, if it's working, why move away from that? You know what I mean? So for me, I think Taysom Hill has a big game today. But thanks for your question. Feel free if you got any other ones, let us know. What about this Commanders Patriots? I know we talked about this game. Who did you pick between the Commanders Patriots?
So I was putting my money where my mouth is. I have Patriots.
Okay, me too. So we are on track to have every game the same. And then Bears Saints. Unfortunately, I picked the Saints. Yep. You're in line with that as well? Okay.
Yep.
And then Ravens Seahawks. I'm guessing you went Ravens. It's kind of hard not to go with them. They're one of the best teams in the NFL. How about this one? You talked Bucks Texans. Did you mention who you're picking to win that game?
I went Texans.
So did I. Okay, I'm not going to gain any games on you this week, Shane. You're up by 3 games. I need to jump in. We got a question here from Chandler Jones.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is the Chandler Jones. Probably not. Chiefs versus Cowboys. Who are you taking? Shane, who are you taking between Chiefs, Cowboys?
Like if they're going to play each other?
Yeah, I'm guessing they play each other soon.
I don't think they have. I don't think Cowboys have the Chiefs on there. I could be wrong, but I don't know if they've got the AFC West this year.
That's probably a good point. I know they got the Giants next week, Cowboys, Giants next week, Cowboys, Panthers the week after. Maybe this is a potential Super Bowl matchup. Let's say he's just wondering. So hypothetically speaking.
Okay, hypothetically speaking,
just Chiefs and Cowboys make it in to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Are you riding with the Cowboys because you're a massive Cowboys fan, or do you go with who I would say is the better football team in the Chiefs?
Yeah, listen, I am the biggest Cowboys fan, but I am also the most impartial Cowboys fan, and
Okay.
I will take in a matchup where you get a huge advantage at quarterback and head coach. I'd take the Chiefs.
Yeah, I would as well. However, at full strength, that Cowboys defense was so good, and I would have loved to see a full strength Cowboys defense and offense humming with the Chiefs. But
Yeah.
I still think the Chiefs win regardless.
Yep.
But all right, so we talked about we're both taking the Texans. Colts, Panthers. Who do you got? Do you got the home team in the Panthers? Are they going to win 2 games in a row, or are you siding with the Colts, who put up a lot of points on the Browns?
I have the Colts.
Me too. Me
Yep.
too, Shane. This is not looking good for me. Not looking good for me. I think I might need to switch up some picks here and gain a spot on you. Giants, Raiders. The Raiders fire their head coach, their general manager, and their offensive coordinator. They have a whole new regime and a new quarterback with Aiden O'Connell. Can they get it done against the Giants? They're at home. The Giants have Danny Dimes back in action. The defense is playing well. Who did you pick between Giants, Raiders?
I have the Raiders. Do you remember last year when the Colts fired their coach and brought in Jeff Saturday, his very first game?
Yeah.
They went in and won on the road. I have a feeling the Raiders are going to do this with Antonio Pierce because they love him in the locker room, and I see the same thing happening.
Yeah, so I am taking the Giants in this game, and I hear what you're saying. Cole's had the same explanation as to why he's taking the Raiders, and it makes sense. It really does. When you fire your head coach, you fire your offensive coordinator, you fire the GM, everything the players thought was wrong with the team. This is their chance to right the ship. To leap and bounds ahead of what they were doing. There's reports that Devontae Adams is happy around practice and that he's in a good mood. I know Josh Jacobs has been in a good mood. They're all happy about this. However, this Giants defense has been playing really, really good football. Aiden O'Connell, I don't have much faith in to get the job done. And Danny Dimes is back. Saquon Barkley is fully back. This guy is dominating football games. This Raiders defense is a lot worse than the Giants. And I think it might take some time before this Raiders team starts turning the page, so to speak. So I understand new coach, new offensive coordinator. They're going to try to get the ball rolling, but in 1 week to implement that new system, new scheme, I just don't think it's enough time for a rookie quarterback against a good defense, even though they're at home, which isn't really a home game because people travel to Vegas to watch their team play. So, I think this is the one game that I'm relying on the Giants to win. And everybody watching out there, let me know if I'm completely crazy and thinking the Giants are going to win this game, because you and Kulz both have the Raiders winning, and this is a massive game for me to take another game on you guys. So, all right, Dallas Cowboys taking on the Eagles. I don't know if you mentioned who you're going to pick to win this game or who you did pick to win this game. You're a Cowboys fan. I'm assuming you're rocking with the Cowboys.
No, I said I'm the most impartial Cowboys fan.
Oh, okay.
I'm going Philadelphia.
Okay, yeah.
In Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's in Philly. Philly is a tough barn to play in, man. Those Philly fans are ruthless. Ruthless. So, yeah, man, divisional matchup. This is going to be a great, great game. But I am also picking the Eagles. And then Bengals, Bills. You said you're taking the Bengals, right?
Yep, I have Bengals on that one.
Me as well. And then Jets, Chargers. You said you're putting your money where your mouth is and going with the Jets, right?
I am, yep.
Okay, so I am behind you in 3 games, and we only have 1 game difference. So I am not looking good. However, I can't like the games that I would go change my opinion on, right? Bills, Bengals, I could go with Bills because I think the Bills are easily could win this game. Chargers, Jets, I do think the Chargers have a chance of winning this game. The Buccaneers, Texans, that could go either way.
That one could be.
I think because of this, I need to take a game on you. I need to take more than one. I'm switching to the Bucs. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it go either way. I like the Texans, but I also like the Buccaneers. That Buccaneers defense is good. Baker Mayfield's just doing enough to get the job done. So I'm switching to the Bucs. So that's 2 games. And oh man, I don't know what it is about the Bills, how I don't like them in this game. They're dogs at away. Do I go with my instincts or do I go with trying to win this league? I think I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to got 3 games on you guys that you guys are not picking. The Bills have a great chance of winning this game. It's going to be a shootout. They could very much easily win this game. So let's go Bills, let's go Bucks, and let's go Giants. That's what I'm rocking with this today. So I'm hoping with it. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you guys think I'm crazy taking the Bills, the Giants, and the Bucks and to win. So Tyreek Hill has a question. Who is the best receiver in the NFL? Tyreek Hill, you're currently playing right now. And
yeah, but that's commercial break, so he can chime in.
He's on the sideline on the stream. What's up, Tyreek? Cheetah? Yeah, man. I think it's hard not to say Tyreek.
Oh,
right?
Easily.
It is Tyreek. But it's subjective. It's Tyreek because of his stat lines. What he's doing right now on a game-to-game basis, he's breaking records. He's on pace for well over 2,000 yards this year. Tyreek is the answer because of his current spot in the statistical standings. However, if you just take that aside, right, early on in this offseason, what was your answer between who is the best receiver in the NFL? Because it's not like who's the best in the NFL right now currently, but who's just the best in general. And for me, it was Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Right. And now he's injured, but if he wasn't injured, I think he would be right up there statistically, right behind Tyreek Hill. So I don't know. To me, Justin Jefferson is still the best wide receiver in the NFL outside of this current NFL season. Tyreek is doing the best. He's going to get to 2,000 yards. And he might be the best at the end of the year. He might be the number 1 receiver going into next year, which, he could be the number 1 pick, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I'm taking OBJ. Yeah, OBJ, man, what is going on with him? He is slamming his helmet on the sideline in frustration. I think he's frustrated with his own ability, right? He's not frustrated. Yeah. Maybe it's not lack of targets or what. The guy is a diva, straight diva. And I think he's just washed. I think he's done.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's not the same guy at all.
No. Do you know off the top of your head what his contract situation is? Do they have him more than
a year? It was a 2-year. It was a 2 when they signed him, it was 2 years.
So he'll be back next year.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't feel good about that at all whatsoever. All right. Anybody else have any questions out there? We're going to sign out. It's been fun. We do this live every week at 10 a.m. Join us, come back. We do have episodes throughout the week. I don't think Kulz and I are streaming live tonight. We're going to be doing a reactions episode tomorrow night for Monday Night Football, where the Chargers and the Jets play each other. Come hang out with us. We're going to talk reactions to every game in the NFL this week. And then Tuesday morning, we are doing a waiver wire fantasy hitchhikers episode. And then on Wednesday, Shane will be joining us for a red light, green light episode. We talk start sits, love, hate, so to speak. And then Thursday Night Football next week, we're going to be talking NFL matchups for Week 10. So we're getting into the heart of the season. You guys stick around. Follow us on Twitter at @fantasy_trucker, at @smccormick_ff, at Fantasy Roadshow for the show account. We have a Substack article. Tyreek wants to know, who's your GOAT? Who's the greatest of all time football player? It's Tom Brady. It's not even close, but positional wise, it's a different conversation. But Shane, you agree?
Tom Brady's it is. Wide receiver, it's Jerry Rice. So
yes, 100%. So Tyreek, thanks for your question. Got any more? Please feel free to float them in before we sign out here. I want to take 1 second to thank our sponsor. This episode is brought to you by Rule One Proteins. Please go to www.rule1proteins.com. Enter promo code ROADIES40 at checkout to get 40% off. If you're looking to get back in the gym, or or if you're looking to up your supplement game, they have great stuff, multivitamins, pre-workout, protein. They got the best tasting protein on the market, great flavors. They got a gelato series. It's delicious. You got to check them out. Get 40% off. They're the best stuff on the market. You won't be disappointed. Again, it's Roadies 40 for 40% off. Like I said, was the Substack article. We have thefantasyroadshow.substack.com. It's our newsletter. It's our weekly email for all of our articles for every episode. Go ahead and go to thefantasyroadshow.substack.com. Enter in your email address to sign up. That's all it takes. And then you'll get all of our weekly articles. All right, Shane, thank you very much for joining. It's great to see you. We missed you last week, and we're glad that you're back with us at the Fantasy Roadshow. And I wish you good luck on the Sunday slate and all of your matchups. And hopefully you win big. I know I need a couple good wins. So
yes, for sure.
All right. Other than that, everybody, thank you for joining us. Thank you for listening. We are live at youtube.com/sportsethos. Like the video, please. If you haven't, click the bell, subscribe to the channel, and join us for future episodes. We appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Thanks a lot. And Shane, what should they do?
Buckle up this Sunday.